As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. What questions are you asking yourselves? First of all, before I get to that, are you holding yourself responsible for your own self-determination? Next thing is, when you have seen some results from your own determination, when you've been validated, when certain things happen, what questions do you begin to ask yourself so you do not stay stagnant, you do not get content? Let me give you an example. Let me give you a real life example of something that I picked up on just yesterday. And to be honest with you, it's been something that's been brewing over the past 6 or 7 years since I've been out here in South Florida, right? So made the decision to move to South Florida because of the football, the fitness background that I have. I knew it was a place in which I wanted to really build my business, build a family, be around a network of people, a group of people in which I was going to be able to relate to very, very well. And just being in Florida, right? Just being in Florida, given the things that I'm very, very passionate about, I knew I was going to just fit in wherever, wherever, right? So it wasn't until the Miami Dolphins Foundation offered me a position in which I decided that South Florida was going to be where I plant the flag, where I reside, and where I become and do all the things that I want to do in this world, right? So it just recently came out, by the way, according to December 20th, 2024. And again, high school football, the state championship games, the way it works is the state championship games I played at one stadium, and all 5 state championship games were won by South Florida teams, all right? And this isn't the first time. I can't even remember a time in which it didn't happen, which is when I asked that question earlier, when it comes to validating my reasoning, validating the reason that I moved out there to South Florida, when you see these kinds of results, when you see these kinds of things happen, it validates the reason I moved out here, which is, again, is for the football, the fitness, and just the overall network and the group of people. Myself having a Caribbean background, I knew being raised in a Caribbean household, I knew there were going to be a lot of things I could relate to out here, right? So the question now becomes what I initially asked to start the video is, what are you going to do to fit in? What are you going to do to improve this situation? If you see, again, made the right decision in regards to football, made the right decision in regards to just being in the right area. However, when I saw that stat, when I saw it happen again, I thought to myself back, and I did a video about this, I think it was this past spring, if I'm not mistaken, where I went to the coaching clinic, the Miami Dolphins hosted, where a representative from the NCAA was there, and he made a bold statement saying, look, South Florida has the most ineligible kids academically, right? South Florida has the greatest athletes, best athletes that you can possibly find. However, we can never get them eligible, and they're never eligible to play for these major schools. And there's so much talent that's being wasted and falling through the cracks because they cannot get themselves right academically. So what I said to myself, and I was talking to my partner, shout out to Ant, who I work with, who was born and raised out here in the South Florida area, and I kind of wanted to get his thoughts and wanted to pick his brain about just the reality of just everything that was going on in South Florida. And he had explained to me, look, to build it, you got to build from the grassroots level, and it's a real possibility, seeing that there's so much talent out here in South Florida. But the question I ask myself is, how do I fill that void? And I'm explaining all this to you, so you use myself as an example, use me as an example when it comes to the things that you're very passionate about, all right? So the way I answer that question in my own life is, look, I have my intellectual property, I have my books, I have my podcast, I have all the things that would be in place to teach young athletes how to develop their overall self, regardless of them. Again, we know how talented you are as a football player, but I have the example. I am the actual example that a young athlete can see that is very talented at the game, more talented than I ever was, right? Better athlete than I ever was, and teaching them, hey, these are the things you need to be implementing while you're playing. God forbid something happen in which you cannot play no more. Now, it's different when someone's just saying it and they don't have anything tangible to show them. However, now I have tangible things to show them that they can see, and that could fill that missing piece. And this kind of stuff takes time. And I'm going to explain all this to you explain all this to you because when it comes to your goals, when it comes to your ambition, when it comes to, wherever it is you want to plant your flag. And I actually had a youth coach tell me one time, it's whenever you start catching your stride in life, so to speak, the mindset has to be, how am I improving the situation? First of all, get yourself in the right location, get yourself in the place which you want to be, which is what I did. But also the next phase to it, the next phase to it is implementing and asking yourself, what are the tangible things that I have in place that are going to make it so, they're going to make it so I'm constantly improving the situation that I'm very, very passionate about. So when we're talking about my situation, just to kind of put a wrap to everything, is me being out here in South Florida and me having the intellectual property and the brand and the business structure that I have it, the way I have it structured, it teaches the young football player out here in South Florida, whether it's the football player and the family and the coaches, how to monetize, how to make sure they're utilizing how to make sure that they're making the most out of their athletic playing career by putting certain things in place while they're playing. If God forbid something happens and they're not able to play anymore. And I use the example all the time when I talk about one of my books named The Six-Figure Athlete, is if God forbid, if your playing career, if something happened today where you can no longer play the game, do you know exactly what it is you're going to be doing? And do you know exactly what it is your plan is towards financially supporting yourself and your family? All right. So all that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, makeyamove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.